The nation's chief fulfilling a commitment, giving a full account of the revenue collected from value-added tax. Good evening, everyone. I'm Keishla Adderley.
And good evening, Bahamas. I'm Altaviz Muddings. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Many critics have questioned where monies from value-added tax have gone. But today, the Prime Minister set the record straight, saying exactly how those monies have been used.
Our Janae Noel Ferguson was in Parliament today as the Prime Minister put all speculation to rest.
Where the VAT money gone? That's the burning question that was comprehensively answered in Parliament Wednesday by Prime Minister the Right Honourable Christie, who gave a full accounting of VAT since its implementation 3 years ago. He, however, made it clear that all revenue collected by government goes into the Consolidated Fund and by law is not distinguishable.
All VAT revenues collected will be credited to the Consolidated Fund, and none are therefore to be earmarked for any specific purpose. That is the law of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. VAT revenues are thus commingled with all other revenues in the Consolidated Fund and therefore are but one component of the government's fiscal plans. In simplest terms, VAT revenue goes towards three things: tax reductions, funding of expenditure, and deficit and debt reductions being the residual outcome.
Nevertheless, the Prime Minister laid out the figures. For the years 2015 and 16, $1.4 billion was collected in VAT. However, $756 million has been the net impact. $316 million of that was collected in 2015 and $410 million collected in 2016. $20 million of VAT was refunded over the last 2 years, and the Customs Department, which collects the bulk of the taxes, reported a collection of $209 million in 2015 and $207 million in 2016. That totals $415 million.
The total reductions, Mr. Speaker, of tax foregone as a result of the introduction of VAT is $344 million in foregone revenue since we introduced VAT.
Now, as for the national debt, the Prime Minister indicated that $500 million was paid in the past 2 years, and that figure would have increased had it not been for the two devastating hurricanes, Joaquin and Matthew. VAT funds, he added, were also used to increase resources and manpower, facilitate health and medical facilities, among other things.
It has hired an additional 166 Defense Force officers at just under $3 million, $2,988,000 per annum. It has employed 347 more teachers and education support staff at $8,400,000 per annum. And it has hired 103 additional doctors. So you're judging us not on $1.1 billion collected. You're judging us on $756 million. By any measure, Mr. Speaker, by any measure and any standard, a remarkable achievement while maintaining a stable economic environment.
He also shot back at opposition for their criticism over VAT expenditure. F&M leader Dr. Hubert Minnis and Loretta Butler-Turner, opposition leader, were all both noticeably absent from Parliament Wednesday morning.
Not $1 of VAT revenues collected over the past 2 years has been frittered away or spent surreptitiously. That is a grave and nonsensical misconception that once and for all must be put to rest. Our people deserve more from our leaders who are holding public meetings and discourse on this subject matter.
Government has also established a website, www.understandingvat.org, for more information regarding VAT and VAT collection and expenditure. Janae Noel Ferguson, ZNS Network News.